Hello, algebra people. It is time for some homework help with practice 3 in case you're stuck. I know these last two lessons are a little tricky. Just a reminder, if you are using Cami, you can zoom in and out, just but use two fingers and either push them together to zoom out or apart to zoom in. And I like to zoom way in when I'm writing with Cami, so that way it's easier for me to write, and then when I zoom back out, the writing's normal size. All right, so today we're going to practice with elimination, and remember, elimination is basically adding the two equations together to make one of the variables disappear. Right now, if we added them together, we'd have 7x and 6y. It's not going to work. So the trick is we want to make opposites. So if I multiply the top equation by the lead coefficient, the starting bottom number, which is 4. I'm going to distribute. So I get 12x plus 8y equals 16. Then we're going to multiply the bottom equation by the opposite of the lead coefficient in the top of the starting number. The opposite of 3, negative 3. So when I do that, negative 3 times 4x gives me negative 12x. And look at right there. You're looking at opposites. So when I add the two equations together, they're going to be eliminated, and we'll just have one variable to solve for. Negative 3 times 3y is negative 9y. Negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. All right, so now you haven't changed the value of the equation because you distributed to everything, but you've made it so now when you add the two equations together, 12x minus 12x cancels, you're left with 8y minus 9y, negative 1y equals negative 21 plus, or 16 minus 21, which is going to give us negative 5. Divide both sides by negative 1, and you found what y is. Once you know one of the variables, you can substitute into one of the original equations. I'm just going to go with the top one. So my 3x plus 2y equals 4. I know that y is negative 5, so I can solve this to figure out what x is now. 3x plus 2 times negative 5 equals 4. This would give us negative 10, so 3x minus 10 equals 4. Add 10 to both sides. Three x equals 14. Divide by 3. X equals 14 over 3 is going to be a decimal, so we'll leave it like that. Okay, so we wouldn't have been able to see that on the graph. That would basically be the point 14 thirds, negative 5. You wouldn't see that point when they cross on the graph. All right, so that's what we're going to practice with. Let's take a look at number 2, and keep in mind you can fast forward to any part of this that you need to. Multiply the top by the bottom and the bottom by the opposite of the top. All right, so multiply the top by 5. Multiply the bottom by not 3, but negative 3. So now we have 15y minus 10x equals 5 times 14, 70. Let's double check. Remember, if you're not sure, it's never good to just guess. 5 times 14, you always have this calculator, even if you decide to take the regents. All right, on the bottom, negative 3 times 5y, negative 15y. And look at that. Those first two terms are going to cancel when we add them. Negative 3 times x, negative 3x. Negative 3 times 32 would be negative 96. And again, if you're not sure, -3 times 32 does not take anything to check. All right, so now let's add these two equations up. And when we do, these are eliminated. -13x equals -70 70 minus 96, or 70 plus -96, -26. Again, if you're not sure, you can just add these. And you see that you get -26. Divide by -13. X equals +2. But that's only half of it, because remember, if we were to graph these two lines, they would cross at a point that has an X and a Y. We just found the X. Now we need to figure out the Y. Pick one of your equations. Doesn't matter which one. Maybe we'll go with the top one. So we have 3y minus 2 times x equals 14. Well, we know that x is 2. And no, it doesn't matter which equation you choose. So 3y minus 2 times 2 equals 14. Well, that would be -4. Add 4 to both sides. 3y equals 20. 20. 3y equals 18. Divide by 3. Y is equal to 6. So it would be the point 2, 6 where they cross. Okay. The first one was bugging me that it turned out as a decimal, which can happen. That's okay. But when I went back and checked it real quick, you might have been going, what is she talking about? -5 divided by -1 should be +5. So what that means is when I plug this in, 2 times 5 is +10. So we would subtract 10 from both sides. So now we would have 3x equals -6. Divide by 3. X is going to equal -2. That looks a little bit better. So our point would be -2, -2, +5 where they cross. That's my bad. Okay, moving on. Last two. So everything's lined up. We're going to multiply the top by the first number in the bottom. And we're going to multiply the bottom by the opposite of the first number in the top. So we get 6y minus 12x equals 60. Over here we get -6y, which is good. They'll cancel. Plus 6x equals -24. And then go ahead, add the two equations together. These are eliminated. -12 plus 6 would be -6x. 60 minus 24 would be 36. Divide by -6. X equals 36 divided by -6, -6. Pick either the top or bottom, doesn't matter which one. I'm going to go with the bottom equation. Looks like it's a little smaller. All right, so instead of 2y minus 2 times x, we'll have -2 times -6 equals 8. We'll combine those. So 2y, -2 times -6 is +12. Subtract 12. 2y equals -4. Divide by 2. Y equals -2. So again, if these were going to cross, they would cross at the point -6, -2. All right, last one. So we're going to multiply. And you may notice, like if you multiplied the bottom by -5, these would cancel and you could solve. If we multiplied just the bottom by 2, these would cancel. But if you use this method every time, because sometimes that's not the case, if you use this method every time, it'll work. All right, so if we multiply the top equation by -2, the bottom equation by the opposite of 4, everything will cancel. So we have negative 8x minus 10y equals negative 24. Then we have positive 8x, negative 4 times y, negative 4y equals negative 32. And add. Here we go. 8x minus 8x is eliminated. Or negative 8x plus 8x, excuse me. Negative 10 plus negative 4 is negative 14y. And negative 24 plus negative 32 is negative 56. Divide both sides by negative 14. And we get positive 4. If you're not sure, remember negative 56 divided by negative 14. There you go. All right, so we have part of our point. To find the other one, I'm going to go with the bottom equation. It's much shorter. So instead of negative 2x plus y, we'll have negative 2x plus 4 equals 8. Subtract 4. Negative 2x equals 4. Divide by negative 2. X equals negative 2. So again, those two lines, if graphed, would have crossed at the point negative 2, positive 4. And that's it for the elimination method. All right, in the next lesson, our last lesson, we're going to learn how to deal with word problems, and we'll use elimination for that as well most of the time. If you have other questions, feel free to stop by the Math Lab. I'm happy to help. Have a good day.